Hey newsies, so I'm doing this practice to really help soothe the hips. This was a specific request from a friend of mine. She and I met when we were reporting in Oklahoma City. She was a photojournalist and I was a reporter. And so this is specifically for her. Now, while this is something that she is dealing with because she has a little one on the way, it is a perfect just restorative practice that you can do whether you're expecting or not. And it's really soothing on the hips. So I've got a bolster. If you have a bolster at home or they're available online. If you don't, see, I just have a blanket. Also a strap. If you don't have a strap, this is kind of just a long piece of cloth that I'm using, and we're just going to get right into some juicy hip stretches. So the first one we're going to do, oh, and I have some books. If you have yoga blocks, great. If not, use your books. So to really open up those hips, we are first going to come to a seated position with the soles of the feet together here and those knees splayed just gently to either side. Now, if this is too much for you, bring in those books and then just pausing here. We're going to hold each pose anywhere from 4 to 6 breaths. And so at any time, if you want to hold a pose longer, pause the video and continue. So for timing purposes, we'll actually hold them for 3 for timing purposes. And again, if you want to pause the video and continue to hold. So here we're just in baddha konasana. It's butterfly pose. You want to make sure that your shoulders are nice and relaxed down the back. Let's go ahead and come into the room here. So closing the eyes if that feels nice, or maybe leave them open with a soft gaze looking down. And just taking a nice deep breath in. And let it go, exhale. Let's do that again. Nice deep inhale. And let it go, exhale. And just begin to notice how the body is feeling. Just noticing what places might be holding a little extra tension, a little bit of extra stress. And holding no judgment, but just being curious about that. So maybe you slept wrong, maybe you've been standing around a lot, maybe that giant camera has been on your shoulder, maybe you've just been holding an iPhone out in front for a long time. Maybe you've been sitting at a desk a lot, writing. Maybe you're still work from home like I am, and I don't really have anywhere to sit, so my back is a little weird. So these hip stretches will help nicely. And so here in the next couple of breaths or 2, continue with that focus on the breath, but then maybe start to take it forward a little bit. And just noticing and seeing how that feels. One other important thing to note is you don't want to focus in on how close the feet can get into your body. You want to actually make sure that you have a wide diamond here. So just a nice little forward fold. Now remember, you've got your blanket or excuse me, your pillow or your bolster here. And so what you can do here now is you can take it and then just rest the forehead on it to just give you a little bit more relief. So you're not having to hold that body up there. And we'll stay here just a couple more breaths. Nice deep inhale. Stay for the exhale. Again, knowing at any time if this feels good, you can just pause the video. Take a few extra breaths as needed, or you can follow along with me. So whenever you're ready, gently pressing away. I'm going to set that bolster to the side. And you're going to place the hands right underneath the knees. We're going to close them. Let's go ahead and set those books aside for now. So now let's get into this hip stretch that's going to focus on one side here. And so some of you may have seen a pose like this where we fold forward and grab, but again, today we're focusing a lot on restorative. And so same thing here. This time I'm going to use the pillow. I'm going to use the pillow and it's going to go right underneath, because a lot of times too, flexibility can change within our bodies. And so maybe if you're expecting a little one, or maybe you just did a track workout. Sometimes I go to the track and I come back, I'm like, oh, that's definitely not as flexible. So I'm gonna have this pillow and I'm gonna actually double it because that'll give me a little more cushion through there. The sole of the feet is towards the inside of the thigh, and then I'm gonna take my piece of cloth, strap, whatever you have, and I'm gonna roll my shoulders back, really open up my chest, and then I'm gonna use the leverage of this strap to just gently pull forward here. And same thing, just focusing on the breath. Nice, easy breathing. You'll notice that as your breath continues, your flexibility might also increase just a little bit. As we're breathing into those muscles, they tend to settle. So maybe unfold that pillow if you need to. Maybe the bolster works well underneath the knee, finding whatever feels nice. And then on the next couple of breaths, maybe you're able to take it away and maybe you're able to come forward. Now, careful not to round through the shoulders here. You really want to open up the chest and again, really give space to that belly, whether there is a little one or not. And the reason we do this is when we round through, it's not really helping the hamstring stretch here. And so our chest is nice lifted, nice and open. We're taking it forward. It just promotes a little bit more stretch in the hamstring. We'll take one more inhale here. And then exhale, go ahead and release. We'll just switch to that other side. So again, maybe you have a bolster, maybe you just have those books. Just nice little opening of the hips here. Go ahead and bring that silk or cloth right across the foot. And then roll the shoulders back, really open up that chest and then take it forward. Nice little opening of the hips, nice easy breath. Softening through. We'll take one more breath here, but again, feel free to pause if you'd like to stay a little bit longer. Taking a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, see if we can go deeper. And then whenever you're ready, inhale, coming right back up. All right, so continuing with those hips here, we're gonna move into log pose. So that is a modified version of lotus. And stick with me for a little bit. So we're gonna stack the feet right on top of the knee. And you'll notice right away this is a pretty big hip opener. If you're saying, whoa, Leslie, that was too much, maybe this is not possible for you. Go ahead and bring that pillow or your bolster and just really make yourself comfortable here. Just resting that bolster right underneath. Feel comfortable. Again, this is all about feeling restorative here. So you're gonna bring that there. Maybe you need a little bit extra. Maybe that knee is hard on the ground and you just need a little bit more cushion. Isn't yoga wonderful? And then on that next breath or two, go ahead and same thing, take it forward here. Nice deep breaths. And exhale. The minimum to stay here is about 3 breaths, but again, you can stay as long as 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just really softening through this. And if you find that there's tightness in the hips, again, every time you're breathing, take a nice deep inhale. Imagine you're breathing new oxygen to the tightness, wherever that is in the hips. And then exhale anything that's not serving. So maybe that's a little bit of stress that we're holding on to. Maybe it's fear. We can be fearful of yoga. Yoga can sometimes be intimidating, as is anything that's new. Let's take one more breath here. And exhale, release. Very nice. Again, the option here to pause the video, take a few more breaths, but we will continue here. Just gently pressing up. Be very careful, very gentle, because those hips are very, they're very open right now. And so we're simply just going to extend both legs, and then we'll switch over to the other side. And so again here, make it comfortable. So placing the bolster wherever it needs. Maybe you need a little extra cushion on the knee. And then take it forward. as needed. Nice deep inhales. And if you find that that you're not really feeling a lot here, always feel free to take props away. That's always another great option here. And just kind of noticing what feels good in your body. Let's take a couple more breaths. And let's take one more. You get an option to pause if this feels good and you'd like to stay a little bit extra. If not, continue on with me. All right, we're going to move into a pigeon pose. And so pigeon is going to feel nice on those hips as well. I feel like I'm about to take a nap on my yoga mat. All right, I'm going to move my books out of the way as well. And so pigeon pose, again, is going to get into those hips. And so from here, we're going to just extend that knee, and it's going to come, if your hands were planted about mat width apart, it's going to come just to the outside of that wrist. And then instead of falling forward, we're really going to try to lift up here. If there's an issue with the back knee, maybe it's just bothering you, go ahead and place that pillow underneath there. And if you notice that, let me move that pillow here, I'll switch it. And if you notice that maybe you're up here still and you can't really get down, take that pillow and place it right underneath the hip. And it can be a pillow underneath the hip or this nice juicy bolster underneath the hip. That feels nice. And then from here, if you have, I'm going to use my yoga wheel for a moment because my blocks are in the other room. But if you have anything at all, it could be a little step stool or anything. Maybe again, you want to rest your forehead here for a nice little pigeon pose. And then as we're breathing into it, same thing here. Maybe you take it to the side. And maybe as you're breathing into it, maybe you can come down to the forearms. Maybe eventually down to the forehead. Just breathing again into the tightness of the muscles. Once again, option here to pause and stay as long as you'd like, up to 10 breaths. Making those breaths nice and slow, energetic, juicy. Whenever you're ready, slowly pressing up. And go ahead and take that leg, and we'll swing it around, and we'll go straight into that other side. So I'm just going to move that bolster over, and we'll move straight into pigeon pose on the other side. So you see it's giving me a nice little elevation here in case the ground is too far away, and that'll help with pigeon pose. Again, if that knee is bothering you, maybe place the pillow down. And then same thing here, just breathing into it. If you have a step stool or books or anything, maybe placing that forehead down, maybe coming down to the elbows, staying anywhere from 3 to 10 breaths. Nice and easy, softening into that pigeon pose. Nice breaths. If you find that mind is beginning to wander, maybe it's starting to think about stresses in life or maybe what's after this class, just gently allow it to think about those thoughts for just a moment and then gently guide it back to your mat. Noticing sensations in your body, noticing that stream of air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then on the next inhale, coming right back up. Go ahead and move the props to the side here. We're going to take a down dog just because it feels nice. So we'll move our props to the side here. If you have a bolster or some blocks or something and you want to take down dog here, just a nice little support. And notice how short my down dog is. It's not really wide. In fact, my knees slightly bend. It's just nice and restorative. If you have a chair somewhere and you'd rather place the hands on the chair for down dog, this is also a nice little release. And then find some movement in the hips here. This is a really good one to just get some movement, get some space, maybe bend one knee, maybe the other. Maybe take it back, really pressing those hips back, reaching those arms away from the hips. And then once again, finding some movement. Maybe cat-cow feels good here. Little cat-cow. Same thing here. Staying here from 3 to 10 breaths. Just finding whatever feels nice. Again, you can place the hands on the bolster, on the ground, just allowing that step or your block or your stack of books to really rest on that third eye. And then whenever you're ready, coming down to the knees, we're going to finish off with a nice little figure 4. So I'm going to put these props aside here, and I'm just going to come in and we're going to lay down. We're going to cross one leg on top of the other and pausing here if that feels nice. If you need a little bit extra, maybe reaching through the back of the leg or the shin, go ahead and flex the foot to protect this knee here. And same thing, taking 3 to 10 breaths, pausing the video if you need to. If you want a little bit extra, maybe extending that foot out, being nice and easy. Now, in case there is a belly here, you can always use the strap here. Maybe you've got someone who might be able to help you. And then here, just a nice figure 4, maybe just leave that foot down. And if you're leaving that foot down here, just a very gentle opening of that knee away from the body. Nice and easy, nice and soft, never forcing any of the poses, just being nice and easy. Whenever you're ready, extend that leg and we'll gently stretch and switch. So again, nice little figure 4. Also, if movement feels good, just noticing what feels good in the body here. And then again, if reaching through is not something that is accessible, then just gently allow that knee to gently press away from the body. In fact, don't even press on that knee. Just keep the foot flexed and just allow that knee to just open up slightly here. Anywhere from 3 to 10 breaths, whatever feels nice. And in the spirit of little ones, go ahead and bring those knees in. We'll finish off with a nice happy baby. If reaching those feet is a little bit too much today, you can always reach for the ankles or maybe even the calves. And here, finding again any movements that feel good in those hips, maybe a little rock side to side. Maybe stillness feels good. Just be mindful to keep that tailbone close to your yoga mat here. So tailbone stays close to the yoga mat to really lengthen through that spine. Maybe bend one leg, straighten out the other. Maybe both legs straighten out. And just pausing here. Good. Taking one more breath here in happy baby, whichever variation feels nice. And then whenever you're ready, bringing those knees in and extend. Go ahead and close the eyes if that feels nice. Releasing down onto your mat. The palms are facing up, open to receiving new energy. Just gently scan the body, noticing how you feel now as opposed to when you started a few minutes ago. Just scan through, relaxing the scalp, soften the forehead, the brows, the nose, the chin, releasing the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the fingers. Let the belly melt down into the mat. Let the hips soften. The quads, the knees, the calves, the shins. And finally, sending some love to our feet. the part of the body that literally carries us through life. Allowing the heels to melt down, the soles of the feet soften, wiggle the toes, holding no tension. Just being so grateful that we can breathe new life, new energy into our bodies. Really being grateful for new breath. And can you fall in love with the art of breathing? Staying here as long as you'd like. But if you're ready to continue about your day, gently wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingertips. Once again, breathing deep into the body. Maybe reach the arms overhead if that feels nice, stretching long. Turning over to the right side of your mat. Whenever you're ready, gently pressing up to a comfortable seated position. Just being so grateful for the moments to pause and rest. And really just being grateful with the beautiful things that our bodies can do. May all be well in the world. Namaste.